Thank you so much for being part of this interview series. I'm super excited to meet you today here on this video chat. Would you mind introducing yourself as a first step?
Of course, I'm Anton Klinger. I've been making games for fun for the last 10 years or so. And in the last 4 years, I've been working on my first commercial game on and off, while I've been studying computer science. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So we would love to hear everything. Like, how did you got into game development? Tell us a little bit like the historic aspects and also a little bit like this vision of the studio you're having and so on.
Yes, I got into game development on accident, more or less. I wanted to do animations, so I got myself Adobe, no, Macromedia Flash back in the days, and I did animations. And then I realized you could also like make games with that, and then pretty much using online tutorials, I taught myself how to make games in Flash. And then that started to be more fun than making animations, so I kind of stuck with it. It took me a long while to realize I could be doing this as a job. Most of the time was just making games for the sake of it, just for the fun of it. Yeah, and once I realized I could do this as a job, yeah, I started to take it a bit more seriously. Um, and the vision for my studio, which is pretty much just me at the moment, is just to make games I like and that hopefully a lot of other people also like. Uh, but mostly games that are like those that I enjoyed in my childhood, like shorter games, action-packed games, and nothing uh, that drags on forever. Like respecting the player's time is one thing. It's very important for me.
This is life. Yeah.
Is there another part of the question I forgot?
Yeah, I mean, so did you found a studio or what are your plans there or what are your future plans here?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I I have a studio that consists of myself, and if if everything works out, I plan, yeah, to grow to have a few people that work as freelancers. Um, but it would be amazing to actually like get a little bit a bigger studio. I don't want to grow a giant studio or whatever, but I think like 5 people or something would be somewhere a point where you like can get stuff really efficiently done. Like everyone bringing in the skills, but without being bogged down with administrative things and like just managing people, stuff like that. Um, yeah, so at the moment, the plan is just to make games that can be sold, and somehow get this financially stable and viable.
There is your current game, which I think already all of us are really familiar with and cheering for it to be released. Can, can you tell us about this game?
Yes,
I think you know the one I'm
exactly.
talking about.
Oh, what game are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. I said earlier, I'm working on Pixel Soldier, an action-packed shoot 'em up twin stick hybrid game, uh, where you shoot a lot of things and fight a lot of bosses. Um, and this started out in 2016, so actually 4 years ago, as a jam entry for the Game Boy Jam. Um, it's just a lot of fun. I think the concept has a lot of potential, and I've been chipping away at it. The scope of the game has gotten a bit out of hand. That's why it's taking so long. I should have probably scoped it smaller. Because I'm also studying in the meantime, so mostly I'm just developing games in my free time, in the evenings and on weekends, and yeah, so the progress is slow but steady. And next year, I hopefully I'm done with university if everything goes planned, and then I really don't have any excuse anymore to not get it in a releasable state.
Cool. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. I mean, the next question you, I think, already touched a little bit, which would be your future plans. And maybe also not only like, on the one hand, like the next year, what is about to come, but also your future vision.
Yeah, I mean next year, yeah, I want to release Pixel Soldier. I mean, I also said this previous year and the year before that, um, because it's hard to plan things. But I hopefully will get better at that. Yeah, long-term goal is get better at planning, making games, and estimating. Um, yeah, yeah, long-term goals is just making more games. I have a lot of ideas and things I want to try out and make. Um, uh, Plan would be get sustainable to make this a full-time job instead of just a hobby, where I just get a few hours every week to work on it, but instead can fully focus on it. Um, yeah, I don't know. But, what else there's to say?
I think that you already made some really important points. Thanks for sharing that. Um, Another question which I found really interesting from your perspective, what advices would you have for young developers or for other developers?
Can't give advice on how to be a successful game developer. I also have to find this out myself yet. I can only give advice on how to have fun while making games. So just like make the things you like to make. Just try out a lot of things, learn a lot of disciplines. Like try out to make art and music and whatever and everything. And just to get the surface knowledge uh, of everything, and just learn more and get good at those things that you like. And so that you have something that you're really skilled at, and that like, other people uh, realize or that you could help other people with that skill, and they realize that you're good at this. Um, and also find a community. That's also one thing. Like if making games for 8 years, for 8 years, but if a lot of years just for the fun of it, but for myself, and there's just sharing it with some friends. Then there's nothing wrong with that. But once I got more into the Game Dev Graz community and got more engaged with that, and had other people to talk about game development and discuss things, I think it helped a lot to progress a lot faster in my game dev career. It's still at the start of the career, but yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's super important, yeah. The last question might be a challenging one, or maybe not. Namely, 2020 was a weird year, I think, for most of us. How did you cope with this year, and did you learn something, or do you have some takeaways for the future?
This year was certainly challenging, yes, uh, due to the coronavirus and the following lockdown. Um, there were a few challenges in my personal life. It was got pretty stressful, living in a three-generation household for the duration of the lockdown. Um, but after this was over, the first lockdown was over. It mostly didn't affect my life too much actually, because I'm still sitting in front of my computer most of the day. Uh, and yeah, I pretty much what I learned is I realized my way of living is called social distancing or social isolation. That gives you a bit to think. So yeah, probably start to socialize a bit more after the pandemic is over. Once we can do that again,
Mm.
and think about like how much time I'm actually spending in front of the computer,
Mm.
if that's really a good thing or not.
Thank you so much for this really honest and interesting interview. I'm so much looking forward for you to release the game. I really love your project. And
Yes,
hope
I'm
you
also
know that.
looking forward to it.
And yeah, again, thanks so much and good luck. And yeah, we are all excited to
Thank
play
you.
your game really soon in the published format.
Yes,
Bye.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.